Hello everybody and welcome to Bright Weird. This is part 3 of the Holy Well, Holy Temple series. So if you've not seen part 1 or part 2, get yourself back and watch them. Otherwise you might not get the full picture. You might miss the arc, so to speak. Interesting subject this one because it's about impossible numbers. Now I'm not going to discuss sacred geometry or the fact that the Great Pyramid is at the centre of the Earth's landmass, or that the latitude and longitude lines up perfectly with the speed of light in meters per second. I'm not going to be doing any of that stuff. What I'm going to be doing in this very short video is talking about nearly impossible construction times and the fact that the archaeologists who came up with those timescales are not engineers. In fact, they probably wouldn't even know how to dig a well. But I surely know how to dig a hole for myself with this video. Anyway, look, here it is. This is Holy Well, Holy Temple, Part 3, Impossible Numbers. Now, I don't doubt for a moment that Khufu had a hand in building work on the Giza Plateau, or that he constructed great works such as the Great Pyramid himself. He likely did not build the Great Pyramid from scratch in only 23 years. Let's talk about some numbers. The Great Pyramid originally stood at a height of 146.6 metres, which is 481 feet. It's a little bit shorter now because the top is missing. It now stands at 138.5 metres or 449 feet. It's estimated to contain around 5.5 million tonnes of limestone and 8,000 tonnes of granite. Now that 8,000 tonnes of granite was transported from Aswan, which is 800 kilometres away. There's approximately, it's estimated, 500,000 tonnes of mortar in the Great Pyramid as well. It's estimated, and estimates vary, that the Great Pyramid weighs 6.8 million tonnes and contains 2.3 million limestone blocks, most of which are the weight of a large family car, the weight of a Range Rover. The internal structure of the Great Pyramid, there's a place called the King's Chamber, which is impressive, and the blocks that make up the King's Chamber were hewn from the granite of Aswan and transported 540 miles, 800 kilometres to the pyramid site. That's a long way to move really big blocks. Some of those granite blocks weigh up to 80 tonnes. Each granite block weighs the same as 30 Range Rovers. Try moving one Range Rover without any wheels and then consider the problem times 30 over a 540 mile distance. It beggars belief. The whole of the Great Pyramid was originally cased in fine Chura limestone, which was stripped in antiquity by Luddites to build modern-day Cairo, used as an open quarry by people who defined the very phrase, familiarity breeds contempt. Now there are an estimated 2.3 million limestone blocks in the Great Pyramid. The average rate of a limestone block in the Great Pyramid is 2.3 metric tonnes, and it took approximately 23 years to build it. There's a lot of 23s there. In Gematria, 23 is 2 plus 3, which equals 5, which in occult circles is a pentagram. So anyway, look, that's a digression. Back to the numbers. So if my maths is correct, for just the limestone blocks, based on 23 years, that gives us a requirement to quarry, shape and move and place blocks at the following rate. So you've got 2.3 million blocks divided by 23 years. So that's you need to quarry, shape, move and place 100,000 blocks per year. Each one of those blocks weighs the same as a Range Rover, 2.3 tonnes. Let's take that 100,000 blocks and divide it by 365. That gives us 273 blocks per day that need to be quarried, shaped, moved and placed into the Great Pyramid. Let's take that 273 blocks and divide it by 24 hours. 11.4 blocks needed to be quarried, shaped, moved and placed into the Great Pyramid every hour based on a 24-hour day, on a 7-day-a-week routine with no delays. But you can't work without light. Therefore, let's set it around an 8-hour day, 273 blocks divided by 8 hours means that you're going to have to quarry, shape, move and place 34 blocks per hour. And that's without any delays at all. Or to put it another way, 34 blocks divided by 60, and that gives us one 2.5 ton block needed to be quarried, shaped, moved and placed every 2 minutes for 8 hours a day, 365 days a year for 23 years, without any bad weather, without any delays, without any problems. Or in modern terms, that's like 2.3 million Range Rovers without wheels had to be dug out of the ground by hand, shaped into neat Range Rover sized blocks by hand, dragged from the quarry without wheels by hand, and piled up by hand without cranes over a 23-year period. That's a hell of a scrapyard, but I digress. As for the granite blocks from Aswan, that's another story. They're fewer in number, but much heavier. They're 80 tons or 40 Range Rovers in weight each. Let's not forget this particular flavour of stone from Aswan was transported 800 kilometres or 540 miles. It's just absolutely bonkers. It makes no sense. I mean, the narrative that's put out there, 23 years, 2.3 million blocks, it just does not make any sense at all. Now, I don't doubt for a moment that Khufu had a hand in building work on the Giza Plateau, or that he constructed great works such as the Great Pyramid himself. He likely did not build the Great Pyramid from scratch in only 23 years. Well, that's the end of part 3 of Holy Well, Holy Temple. In part 4, I'll tell you how Khufu built the Great Pyramid in 23 years by building on top of an existing primordial pyramid. I will discuss that primordial ancient structure and even speculate as to its internal layout. I'm Steve, this has been Bright Weird. Thanks for watching.